Hi everybody, welcome to our live stream. My name is Jimmy Kea from Lesaffre, Singapore. Lesaffre is a French company focused on yeast fermentation since 1872. So today I will be demonstrating how to make a auspicious bread to welcome the year of ox. Auspicious bread. Yeah. So let's start on from the beginning, from the kneading of the dough. Yeah. So we have the flour. All the item has been pre-weighed to facilitate the kneading. So I had the flour. I mix in the dry ingredient. I had the salt, brown sugar, the dry ingredient, the dry longan, wolfberry, walnut. So from the tag recipes, we have these 20 grams of the dry longan pre-soaked in the water. Lastly, we have the yeast that is pre-weighed before, the yeast from Lesaffre. Okay, so we have the yeast for fermentation. Arm yourself with a scraper, your hand. At one go, mix the dry ingredient. Well mixed. At one go, you add in the water. Okay, let's start kneading. So while you are mixing your dough, now it's mixing the dough. Get all the dry ingredient with the water rehydrate together. The reason why I put my fingers all together is to facilitate the kneading, the cleaning, so that I don't contaminate my fingers with all the dough. As the dough comes together, you can start to, with some additional movement, you start to form the dough. Okay, so in the beginning of the kneading process, the dough can tend to be some sticky to your fingers, but it's a natural process. So just clean off the excess dough together. Okay, now we can mix. Leave it. Okay, so start kneading process. Okay. Pull and stretch. Okay. Kneading, there is 3 stages that we as a baker that we have to recognize. Okay. Underneath, when the dough is starting to form, but it's still very rough. This is a stage of under kneading. So continue to knead by hand. For a starter to knead by hand, this is a process where you learn to handle the dough, you learn the dough texture, and you learn how to handle the dough as in shaping the dough. So you can try. Doing 2 fingers. Do not worry about all this. Make sure your table is clean. Do not add additional flour at this stage, because the flour will just add on to the texture and change the texture of your dough. If you look at the recipe, we start with cold water. Yeah? So it don't stick to your dough. If you want to knead by one whole piece, let's stretch the dough, put to the bed. The stretch and pull. To check the window panel test to whether the dough is ready for your gluten formation, cut a decent piece of dough and you pull. And if as you stretch your dough and it tends to break, you know that the gluten network is not ready. So you continue to knead. So learning to knead by hand also gives you a very good exercise. And if your machine breaks, do not worry because you are the machine. Okay. As you learn and as you knead, you get the momentum and you can start to go a bit faster. Okay. Well, I have my dough almost done. Okay. The sign and symptom of a knead dough. Okay. You can see that the thing becoming more and more shining because the water has been hydrated and against the light it gives you the reflection. Let's check. Okay, if you have seen, it gets stronger than before. Okay, so we have done the basic, collecting the ingredient, kneading the dough. Right now we're moving the next step, which is the bulk fermentation. We rest the dough in one piece for 40 minutes. This process is called a bulk fermentation. Okay? And the purpose of the bulk fermentation is to create a better aroma for the bread naturally. So you can cover with a cloth, leave it in the ambiance temperature for 40 minutes. Okay? Or you can have an airtight container and you cover it. And the reason why is to make sure that there is no skin formation for the bread dough to be rising and resting during the resting time. So moving ahead with time, I have prepared a dough that is well rested for 40 minutes, and I'm going to do the next step of the bread making, which is dividing the dough, pre-shape the dough, and shaping the dough. So in this, we want to shape the dough into a 100 gram. During a division, try to have your dough in a nice oblong shape where you can estimate a good size in one cup. I want 100 gram. Use the back of your fingers to give a good estimation. 110 with two fingers, my fingers. 100. 81. So arrange your dough in a nicely in sequence. So this is how a division of a dough could be handled. And after the division, we go to the next step, which is to pre-shape the dough into a desired shape. Rounding the dough is a pre-shaping. For the pre-shaping, we want to make it into a teardrop. Round. And after you shape the end to sharp. Okay. A teardrop. You can try with your left hand, your right hand. If you need to dust the flour, the dough, dust some flour by onto your hand. That will be good enough. Or you can use shaping by both hands. It takes some time to practice the skill. This is a skill set. Give yourself some time and then practice with some rounding. Keep it round. Once it's round, use the back of your hand and you make it sharp. Okay. Round. Once you have the round, sharpen it. Very soon you'll know why I need to do in this formation, because I want to make it very wide and sharp. So the next step will be after the pre-shaping, we do a table rest. Okay, table rest, a bench rest, or some we'll call it. Keep it on a cover. You can use a cloth, a cream wrap, and this is normally how we have handled it. The next thing you need is a rolling pin. One tray for the dough that has been shaped to get ready for proving. Yeah. So let you rest. Okay. More dough for me. The desired shape, which I want. The sunflower, rolling, expand the lawn. If your dough stick to the table, that's sunflower. Just use the flour from the table. That will be good enough. Keep the two sides wider. The top, after dusting some flour, it will be dry. So to make the dough stick together, naturally we use the end of the back of the dough. Shape it for 4 seconds. Use the back of your hand. Make it stick together. release from the table from time to time. One more time. So one technique of rolling is do not compress the dough too much. You are rolling on the dough and not compress and pressing down the dough too thick. Hey, see the ocean growing. So once you have done all your bread dough, pre-shape into your desired shape, leave it to the prover. If you at home you don't have a prover, you can just put into a hot environment and with some water, hot pot water, and let it double the size. Okay, so I have some double the size ready, and it's ready for baking. And one sign and symptom is when you press, it tends to have a fingerprint on the dough. Yeah, it will spring back. So we are ready for baking into the oven. You preset your oven. Make sure your oven is hot, 210 degrees. And this bread, before baking, put some steam onto the oven. You can spray with water before you put into the baking oven, or you can put some ice cube and you put the bread into the oven. So with the baking time, yeah, you can have the golden color. This is a sign and symptom of a baked bread. Or you can look at the crust, it's getting more thicker, and you can look at the temperature, internal temperature of the dough, or you can look at the sound of the bread. So with this, I hope you have enjoyed the bread, and the techniques will be shown on the Lesaffre social media and website. And do follow us, and I'm Chef Jimmy here, and hope you enjoy a happy Lunar New Year. Thank you.